you have to be honest with yourselves. I had to be honest with myself. I'll be honest with you right now. I was not involved in any of this a year and a half ago. I've been concerned about it, but I didn't really get involved until last year, about June, July. So I got on Sarah Palin's page. This is not about Sarah Palin. I got on her page because I thought, for goodness sake, she was a political dynamo in 2008. You would think that someone who worked that hard, and then in 2010, despite all of the attacks on her and all of the media madness surrounding her and her family and everything, why isn't she running? So I just got on out of curiosity. I clicked like, and I was a little bit, shy and timid about it because there's a stigma still on her. Anything associated with her, anyone associated with her, supporters, candidates who have been endorsed by her. This woman is amazing, and it's, again, not about her. My concern was, why isn't someone who had a wonderful message, who got a lot of people excited, who the people were just, expressing themselves so much to, why isn't she running? And so this whole thing came up, and it's been accidental, and God knows I would have loved Marco Rubio to have been my hero, but it turns out that there's that axis of truth again. I have to stick to what is right and what is based on merit and what is based on what a person does, and not just how they look or how they sound, because she is drop dead gorgeous in person, and she is just as wonderful with her family. There's something about her, but this is how she fits into the entire, it's the context, okay? She represents everything that the people represent. So I want to ask you, GOP voter, why is it that someone that represents small government, that represents everything that people wish they had, more, more freedom, why is it that someone like that is shunned? And then I started getting involved in the movement, and it's not about her. For me, it's always been about the GOP versus me, because she represents me and she speaks for me, and I like politicians who tell the truth. God, what a notion that would be, to hear truth in politics, and that is so refreshing. She doesn't do things the way everybody does. So she spoke the truth. She never stood down on anything she said. That is to be admired. So I was wondering why someone like that, as talented as she was, who had overcome the attacks, because in 2010, if you have over 60%, something like 63% or 67, I don't know, it's like 2/3 of the candidates that she endorsed through Sarah PAC, I believe, they were elected. So she refreshed the page on the Congress and the Senate races, and they ended up going to Washington, and they don't even send her a thank you note. I'm serious. This is really concerning. It's more about the justice of it than it is about the person, because she represents millions of people. So it's not about her. It's about the disrespect that the GOP has showed the people via her, okay? And we know this in the movement now, because I see it every day. I understand the attacks, and they come from the left and they come from the right. So the reason why Romney didn't do well is because people didn't find a connection with him. But also, there's a lot of bad blood, because his advisors were the ones that were spreading the rumors about her having an experience. So we're dealing with a GOP that is against everyday people, and she is not political class. Getting back to the beginning of this thing, sacrifice and faith and all these wonderful things that people do to, work and keep this country going. We need to keep that going, because we have a political class that does not sacrifice. They take and they don't give back. They give crumbs. They give us crumbs. What do we get every year? More taxes. What do we get every year? More government. What do we get every year? More involvement and more intrusion on government, and less representatives, fewer, who will stand up to us. She stood up to us, and what happened to her? She got punished. And the reason why everyone in Washington and everyone who votes doesn't want to be involved with her is because they will get punished too, and they don't have the courage that it takes to say, I know her, I'm proud of what she's done. Thank you, Liz Cheney, by the way. And I just admire people who, despite what other people think, are going to say what is true. It doesn't matter who is saying it. It doesn't matter who is doing what. It matters what is being done. At the end of the day, more is said than done. And Sarah does more than what she says. So at the end of the day, we have to look at what is right and not who is right. If you can just put the blinders on and get a list of all the things that this woman has done. It's not just about charisma, it's about record, it's about policy, it's about a philosophy of what government should be, and it should be smaller. And that's the bottom line. And yes, she would galvanize everyone, including Democrats, by the way, who were part of the Tea Party. Why? Because most people want government out of their lives as much as possible. I wish the Bushes would understand that. We don't want progressive agendas pushed into the party's agenda. It's not part of the party, okay? This is not about personality. I don't want to make it about personality. This is about message, and it's about how someone is able to deliver a good message and is punished for it. And I find that criminally wrong. I thank you for this time that you shared with me. I'm going to share one last thought. It was at the funeral again, going back to the message. My friend's mother lived a very proud life, as everyone has challenges, she was proud of her faith, and she was and her children are proud of the sacrifices she made, just like I am proud of my parents. But she lived a proud life. She had the challenges that needed to be met, and she always said that as long as you have your faith, and as long as you have fellowship and a relationship with Christ, you can overcome anything and everything will be okay. Why? Because God never gives you something greater than you can bear. No pain will be greater than you can bear. And I know this election has been a huge disappointment for many of us, but God gives us spirit we need to move forward and to deal with it. And God's world, nothing is impossible. So we can be sad for a couple days, but surely we need to keep that in mind. Thank you, and God bless you.